YouTube? The doctor is in. Dr. Urius Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And today we are going to be going over the College of Spirits Bard from Ravenloft Horrors Within. And we're going to be talking about this. We're going to be giving it a grade. We're going to be comparing it to some of the other Bard subclasses, because this is a subclass. And I'm going to be kind of talking a little bit about my thesis of this. And my thesis with this particular subclass is that, one, it's too random. Two, the abilities that they get they're not properly leveled. They don't scale correctly with the level that you should be using them at. And three is this has poor action economy. An action economy is always a thing. All right. Just like every other subclass, we get this one at 3rd level. The first thing you get is Channeler. You know how to contact spirits, yada, yada, yada. You get Guidance. So Guidance is pretty good. Guidance, if we look over here at the Bard spells, is typically not, here's all the cantrips that a Bard can get, not on the list. So that is pretty good. Everybody likes Guidance. You get a D4 to any ability check of a chosen skill. So everybody likes that. Range of 60 feet, that's fine. Guidance normally is a range of touch. So you have a Guidance at 60 feet that you can cast whenever you want. That's actually pretty good. Secondly, you get Spiritual Focus. You get a gaming set, playing cards. You have proficiency with it, and you can use it as an arcane focus. Don't care. The big shtick that they have is this Spirits from Beyond. Again, this is their big ability. It's random. It sucks up a bunch of action economy, and the abilities in it, in my opinion, don't necessarily scale with the level. So let's look at the mechanics. And it's mechanically, as far as the rules go, it's a bit complicated. So there's channeling and there's unleashing. And you have to do channeling first before you unleash a spirit. You channel the spirit and then you unleash it. So you spend a bonus action, you can expend a use of your bardic inspiration, and you can channel a specific spirit. However, up here, when you take a bonus action to give a creature a bardic inspiration die, you can call forth the powers of a random spirit. So you can just do bardic inspiration, and here's the bard class. And if we look back down here, here's bardic inspiration. So you get that a number of times a day equal to your charisma modifier until you finish a long rest. That changes after we hit, I believe, 5th level. You get Font of Inspiration. Your bardic inspirations come back after a short rest, which can be worth taking. We start out at a D6, and these are used to modify D20 tests. We go to a D8 at 5th level, a D10 at 10th level, and a D12 at 15th level. That is important to understand as far as the uses of the spirits go. So let's go back. So we can use a bonus action to give a creature bardic inspiration, just like we always do. And then we can call forth the powers of a random spirit. To determine the spirit you channel, roll the bardic inspiration die and refer to the spirit's table below. So we start with a D6, which means we can only get the first 6. At 5th level, we can get the first 8. At 10th level, we can get the first 10. And at 15th level, we can get the first 12, the next 12, all 12. So that's what we would roll. Now, we can also just use our bonus action, and instead of giving bardic inspiration, we use it and we channel. So that's called controlled channeling. We can expend our use of bardic inspiration and spend our bonus action, and then we get a specific spirit. When you do so, you choose the spirit from the table rather than rolling. And again, we can't choose things unless we can actually get it with our bardic inspiration die. So it says if your bardic inspiration die is a D8, you can choose to channel any spirit up to and including the shade, which is number 8. Okay. Then we have to unleash it. So this part here, random. Very random. And this part here is part of our inefficiency with action economy. So we have to unleash it. We channel it and then we unleash it. Unleashing a spirit as a magic action, meaning we're doing this instead of casting a spell, you can unleash one of your channeled spirits. So if we're doing this, rather than casting a spell, I would hope that the abilities below, Spirits from Beyond, are equal to spell levels of spells that we would cast at those levels. That is, we don't get a D8 until 5th level, so I would hope that numbers 1 through 6 are equal to a 2nd or 1st level spell. That numbers 7 and 8 would be equal to a 3rd level spell. Numbers 9 and 10, because we don't get those till 10th level. There it is right there, 10th level. We don't get that D10. So 9 and 10. At 10th level, we are casting 5th level spells, so 9 and 10 should be equivalent to 5th level spells. And we don't get the D12 till 15th level, which we're casting 8th level spells. We go up here to the table at 15th level, we are casting 8th level spells. There it is right there. So that numbers 11 and 12 should be equivalent of an 8th level spell. And I'm telling you, after we read these, they're not. But anyway, I digress. You use a magic item to unleash the spirit that you have channeled. You must have channeled it first. And then choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself or the spirit's target. The spirit then takes effect. If the spirit's effect requires a saving throw, the DC is equal to your bard spell DC. Okay, so what are these wonderful effects? 1 through 6, this is what we can do initially right off the bat until 5th level. Beloved, the target regains hit points equal to a roll of your bardic inspiration die plus your charisma modifier. So what happens? So you could channel it and hold it till later. So it is a little situational. This one you might have to hold because you might not need to regain or heal someone. We get the sharpshooter. The target takes force damage equal to a roll of your bardic inspiration die plus your charisma modifier. At 4th level, this might be an 18 charisma. So it's going to be like 7 points of damage. It's really not that much. That is definitely not the equivalent of even a 1st level spell. That is more the equivalent of a cantrip. Number 3, we get the Avenger. Until the end of your next turn, any creature that hits the target with a melee attack roll takes force damage equal to the roll of your bardic inspiration die. All right, that might be helpful if there's a bunch of creatures that are going to be attacking the target. Awesome, that's great, but again, it's not equivalent to a 1st or 2nd level spell. We get the Renegade. The target immediately takes a reaction and teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space. That's pretty good. That's not bad. That's kind of like a Misty Step, so that's a 2nd level spell. Beloved is probably like a 1st level heal almost. And we get Fortune Teller. The target has advantage on D20 tests until the start of your next turn. That's good. And that is actually more powerful than a 1st or 2nd level spell. So that's okay. But again, if you're doing the random one where you're given Bardic Inspiration, you're hoping to get that, and you might get one of the other ones. And then finally, we got Wayfarer. The target gains temporary hit points equal to a roll of your Bardic Inspiration die plus your Bard level. While the target has the temporary hit points, its speed increases by 10 feet. This one's pretty good. So, we're going to be doing 1 through 6 up until 5th level. So this could be 7 temporary hit points plus an increase of speed. That definitely is equivalent to a 1st or 2nd level spell, I would say. So I'm okay with that. Now, we're moving to 5th level, where we're able to cast 3rd level spells. So 7 and 8 should be equivalent to 3rd level spells. So let's see. Trickster. The target makes a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the target takes psychic damage equal to 2 rolls of your bardic inspiration die, which is a d8, which is 9 points. And it has the charm condition until the start of your next turn. On a successful save, the target takes half, which is 4.5. This is kind of lame. I mean, it's charmed. It can't harm you. And you have an advantage on social checks against it. But it sure can attack your compadres, your party, your friends, your comrades. So, not that great. Charmed is just okay. It should do a little bit more. Is that the equivalent of a 3rd level spell? Absolutely not. Then we get Shade. The target has the invisible condition until the end of its next turn or until the target makes an attack roll, damage roll, or casts a spell. So it basically gets invisibility for a round. When the invisibility ends, each creature in a 5-foot emanation originating from the target must make a Constitution saving throw. We don't really like these. A lot of things make those. Or take necrotic damage equal to 2 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die. Not half on a successful save. That's none on a successful save. So is this the equivalent of a 3rd level spell? No, invisibility is a 2nd level spell. There's a little extra on the side. It's close, but it's not quite there. It's another one of these that just kind of doesn't meet it. So 7 and 8, definitely not equivalent to 3rd level spells. 9 and 10, we get these at 10th level. We will be casting 5th level spells now. So we get 9 is Arsonist. The target makes a dexterity saving throw, taking fire damage equal to 4 rolls. So that's 4d10, or that is going to be on average a 5.5. 22 points of damage, 4 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die. On a failed save, half as much as a successful one. Is that the equivalent of a 5th level spell? No. It's not even the equivalent of a Fireball, which does more damage than that to multiple targets. So no, this is not something I would consider to be something equivalent to a 5th level spell whatsoever at all. Number 10 is the Coward. The target and each creature of your choice within a 30-foot emanation originating from the target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or have the frightened condition until the start of your next turn. While a creature is frightened, its speed is halved, and it can take either an action or a bonus action, but not both. Yes, this is very much an equivalent of a 5th level spell, so this is pretty good. So I would say so far, we've got some really good ones. We got Fortune Teller and Wayfarer. Those are both pretty good. The Shade is a bit okay, and I would definitely say the Coward is great. All right, now 11 and 10, we cannot get these until we are 15th level, so we are casting 8th level spells. First one is the Brute. Is the Brute equivalent to an 8th level spell? Each creature of your choice in a 30-foot emanation originating from the target makes a strength saving throw. We don't like those. They're easy to make. On a failed save, a creature takes thunder damage equal to 3 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die. That is a d12. That is going to be about 19 points of damage. That's very lackluster for an 8th level effect. And has the prone condition. There's so much stuff that is way lower than that has way more damage than that makes them prone. Can you say Thunder Wave? That will push and do a bunch of damage. So this is not equivalent to an 8th level. And then on a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage. It doesn't say. They just get the prone. It says on a failed save, they get the prone condition. So if they make their save, they take half damage, and it doesn't sound like they're prone. They could have worded that a little bit better, but Brute is definitely not the equivalent of an 8th level spell. Remember, you are using a magic action which you're using this instead of casting a spell to make an effect happen. And these are the equivalent of a spell of that level because you can't use these until a certain level. And then we've got, finally, the Priest, number 12. The target regains hit points equal to 2 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die. Ugh, that's horrible. And one of the following conditions of your choice ends on the target. Blinded, charms, deafened, paralyzed, poisoned, stunned, paralyzed, and stunned suck. So that's probably not bad, or blinded. But there are lower level spells that do way more than this. That are, they're probably the equivalent like a 4th or 5th level spell, not an 8th level spell. So I would say Coward, that's good. Shade's pretty good. Wayfarer is pretty good. And Fortune Teller are pretty good. All the rest of them, that's 3 out of 12. That's not a great track record. So my thesis is holding. So far, we've got randomness. So far, our action economy sucks because we're doing this instead of casting a spell. And these are not great. These are not really scaling very well at all. Now, there is the fact that we can use these a bunch of times, especially if we're going to be a higher level bard. If we're 5th level or higher, we're going to be able to get all of our bardic inspirations back on a short rest. And we can use our bonus action. Remember, so if you do this, you are using your bonus action to control a spirit instead of giving somebody bardic inspiration. So you're choosing that. But you can do it randomly. You could get a bad roll. You could get this arsonist, which is horrible. And that's a higher level effect. So it is what it is, I guess. All right. At level 6, we get empowered channeling. So we get powers from beyond once per turn. When you cast a bard spell, remember these are not spells. With a spell slot that deals damage or restores hit points, roll a d6. You gain a bonus equal to the number rolled to one of the spell's damage rolls or to the hit point totals of the spell restore. So we get a little bit of extra stank on our damage or our healing. That's just okay. Spiritual manifestation, you always have spirit guardians prepared. That's pretty good. We like spirit guardians. Spirit guardians is not a bard spell, and you can cast this spell once without a spell slot. That's awesome, and you regain the ability to cast it this way when you finish a long rest. So we get a Spirit Guardians for free, and we've always got it prepared so we can always cast it. We get a free casting, and then we could use slots later on. And it gets better. Whenever you cast a spell, you can modify it so the spirits also guard against worldly threats. When you cast the spell in this way, you and allies within the spell's emanation, which is 15 feet, have half cover. Half cover is a +2 to AC and Dex saves. That's pretty good. Once you modify the spell in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest. So you can do this basically once an hour. That's pretty good. The only problem I have with this spell is that you have to be up front because it only has a emanation of 15 feet to actually be able to use its lawnmower abilities, which are do damage. However, everybody does get half cover, but if you're far away, then then the back row has to be with you. If you're up front, then that's going to be on top of your tanks that are there. So as the bard, you have to figure out, as the College of Spirits bard, you got to figure out where you're going to be in the attack order and on the battlefield. All right, and then finally at level 14, we get Mystical Connection. You gain mastery over the spirits you call whenever you roll on the spirits from beyond table, and the only time that you roll on that is when you do your bonus action Bardic Inspiration die. When you actually give a creature Bardic Inspiration, that's when you're going to roll. And whenever you roll on the spirits from beyond table, you can roll the die twice and choose which of the two effects to bestow. If you roll the same number on both dice, so if we roll like double 4s or whatever, you can instead choose any effect on the table. So that's pretty random, and that doesn't happen until 14th level. And at 14th level, we're still at a D10 for our Bardic Inspiration die, so we can only get up to the Coward. Not that the Brute or the Priest are any good, but so maybe we can choose the Coward. All right, so what grade am I going to give this? We're going to give this one a D. Just a straight D. There are other Bard subclasses that are way better than this. Way better than this one that I would choose. And there are other things that I am probably going to do every round other than Unleash a Spirit, like cast a spell. So let's take a look at some of these Bard subclasses. I like Glamour. I like Valor. I like College of Lore. You got the Cutting Words. And, of course, if we go back to the Legacy classes of the Bard, my favorite one is going to be the Bard of Eloquence. And the reason for that is Unsettling Words, because we can use our Bardic Inspiration to give somebody a penalty to saving throws, which is an immensely powerful ability. We almost always do well on persuasion or deception checks. We've got the Universal Speech. We've got unfailing inspiration. I mean, these abilities are just so good, and they're not actions. They're bonus actions. Like, I can use my bonus action to unsettling word something and then cast a spell. So that is a more powerful combination than anything that the College of Spirits Bard can do. All right, so that is the video that I have for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.